Up until that point, I think I'd viewed God in a very black and white way. You do everything right, things are going to go well for you. You do everything wrong, things are not going to go well for you. And there's no margin for error. And grace and forgiveness exists, but not really. Tim showed up, and in that moment, kind of shattered that perspective. I'm adopted. All my siblings are adopted. It was a great environment, loving home. We got a great church community. Was involved in that church and in Awana from the beginning. But along the way, I think I started to just wrestle with a lot of internal questions about, who I was as a person. Did I fit in? Did I belong? I looked very different than the people that I was around. Emotions that I was feeling, trauma that I was experiencing. Following Jesus was just kind of something that you did. It became easier and easier to question all of that. I was wrestling with all of these questions, concerns, anger, frustration, bitterness towards my parents, resentment towards discipline. That conflict, I think, started spiraling out of control. Drinking, smoking, pornography, relationships with girls. I'd run out of the house and I would find all of these different things without my parents knowing. Late at night, police were over sometimes. I became a problem child. I think I started to realize I'm developing addictions, I'm developing habits that are getting out of control. There were people that were stepping into my life, trying to coach me up. There's a problem with who you are, Noah, and we need that problem to be fixed ASAP. And that just felt so disingenuous and hurtful. I was just kind of done. One night, I took a bunch of medication pills in a suicidal attempt. And I wound up in a hospital. And I got transitioned to a facility where they were just kind of monitoring me. I didn't know when I could go home. I felt very lost. I felt very broken and abandoned. I felt very, very alone. So one day, I'm in the hospital, and I've been there for quite a bit, and Tim just shows up. And we just had lunch together. He let me know that he was praying for me. And we talked in a non-judgmental way, just in an authentic way. I don't think there was any sentiment from Tim of, how did you get here? And you made so many big mistakes, and we can't have this happen again. It was so genuine. That moment showcased a Christ-like behavior that I had never really experienced before from someone who didn't have to love me, didn't have to show up, had all the right to judge me, and instead just loved me. The gospel was colored in that moment. That made a huge impact on my life. I started to see life differently, I think, after that moment. And I started to engage with more Christians who were living their life in a similar way to Tim. Maybe this whole Jesus thing is real. Maybe, I could be that way at some point. And thankfully, the Lord has made, a tremendous impact in my life. Got a new high school, made a new friend group, started playing football, went to college, met my wife, got a great job, got involved in my church. Life took a extraordinarily positive turn. It became abundantly clear why Awana exists. It's made me a better leader for my family. It's given me the courage to lead in my work environment. It's given me the courage to serve. I would say it can be really easy to misunderstand the level of impact one can have by investing in a singular individual. When I was, 14 years old, when I was being discipled by Awana leaders, I was being molded and shaped. Because of them, I've had the foundation to disciple a lot of other people.
Hey! How are you, sir?
That's great.
Thanks for making an impact in my life. Thanks for everything you do with Awana.
Tim is the core example of who Jesus is. Jesus is my hero. I hadn't seen him exemplified. And to watch Tim step into my life and love me the way that he did when he didn't have to, it's made a huge impact on my life.